My husband badmouthed me to his ex behind my back, so I pretended to be the perfect wife for months, then abandoned him in the middle of the night and ruined his life. I vividly remember the day I discovered that my husband Josh was texting his ex. My heart dropped and horror washed over me as I realized he wasn't just cheating, he was doing something a lot worse. He was badmouthing me to the extreme to Rachel, saying how terrible I am in bed, how piggish I am, and even disclosing my past trauma to her. In response, she laughed and insulted me too, the two of them nonstop talking about how fat, unattractive, and awful I am at everything. I burst into tears reading these texts dating back months, and just as I was putting his phone down, Josh came out of the shower. I quickly ran off to the bathroom, wiping my tears and spending some time in the toilet trying to compose myself. When I came out of the bathroom, I saw him on his phone laughing, presumably texting her. I wanted to scream and shout at him and call him a filthy liar, a disgusting, pathetic excuse for a man, but I resisted the urge to do so. The days that followed were some of the hardest I had ever endured. Every time Josh touched me, I had to fight the urge to recoil. His hands, which once brought me comfort, now felt like a betrayal. Each time we were intimate, I let my mind wander elsewhere and focused on anything but him, because if I did, I'd instantly get nauseous knowing he was probably going to text Rachel directly, after stating just how awful the intimacy was. No wonder he went into the bathroom with his phone right after every single time. I spent days faking a smile every time I saw him. I continued doing the household chores as if nothing had happened. I made his favorite meals, kept the house spotless, and even surprised him with small gifts, all while my heart was breaking because I knew that he was probably laughing about everything I did to his ex. There was a method to my madness, however, because this was my first step in totally breaking him. A few days in, I had concocted a plan to totally destroy him, and for stage one of this plan, I needed to act like the perfect wife. What really sickened me about the entire ordeal, however, was that Josh acted as if everything was perfect, maybe even better than perfect. I couldn't believe that he was affectionate, considerate, all while mocking me to Rachel. During the day, he would compliment my cooking, thank me for keeping the house clean, and even bring me flowers from time to time. He'd cuddle me and hug me, tell me he is the luckiest man alive to have me, and that he wouldn't ever trade me for the world. But then when alone, he'd text Rachel about how ugly I am. Late at night, when Josh was asleep, I would often unlock his phone and screenshot their conversations. Rachel loved the attention she was getting from Josh. She would eagerly jump at the opportunity to say Josh deserves so much better, and that she would never treat her husband like that. There were whole threads of messages from her attacking everything about my looks and my insecurities, with her saying she would be able to run a household and still manage to take care of herself and would never develop such nasty cellulite. She constantly tried to position herself as the better option, and I had it all documented in my phone. It hurt to see all the negative comments on me, especially with my husband indulging in it too. And then it happened. One night when I unlocked his phone, I saw that my husband had stooped to a new level, one so low that I couldn't even fathom it was possible. He sent her an unclothed pic of me while I was sleeping. The two of them laughed their butts off about it, editing the picture, zooming in on every one of my insecurities and insulting my body. Rachel stated that she would never let herself look like a seal, while laughing at me, and Josh chimed in calling me a cow. I almost lost it. This event almost made me forget my entire plan, wake him up and roar at him, but I managed to keep my composure and stick to the plan. However, what they did had left me with irreversible damage. I would constantly look in the mirror and hear their comments running through my head. At night, after documenting another batch of cruel messages, I would sit alone, tears streaming down my face as I wondered how long I could keep this up. I tried to not let it affect my self-esteem, and I reminded myself why I was doing this. I knew if I was going to get away from Josh, I knew I'd have to stay focused. While I was suffering on the inside, I continued to play the perfect wife role. After long, tiring days at work, I would come home and cook his favorite dinners, no matter how exhausted I felt. The house was spotless. I showered him with affection and initiated almost every night. He absolutely loved it, and my plan was working to perfection. As the weeks progressed, I saw the messages he had between him and Rachel do a 180. She would try to throw a jab at me and sarcastically ask, "Is your wife still treating you like the king you are?" And Josh would reply to her telling her yes. As time went on in his messages to her, he would brag about me and say that I am actually doing an amazing job at everything, that I have actually managed to lose weight and am looking attractive now, and that yes, indeed, I am still treating him like a king. He would even send her pictures of the food that I would cook for him. Rachel did not like that. She would try to mask her jealousy and insecurity with backhanded compliments like, "She's surprisingly good at cooking for someone who doesn't have much else going for her," or, "You definitely have to give her credit for trying so hard," even though the results weren't always great. Josh would participate in the ridicule beforehand, but not anymore. Even when Rachel tried to shade me, asking Josh if he thought my behavior was genuine, he defended me. "I don't know what changed," he wrote, "but I'm not complaining. She's been incredible lately." Each time I read those words, I felt a mix of joy and sadness. Joy because my plan was succeeding, and sadness because the man I once loved was now a stranger to me. He told her that I had been trying very hard lately, and had to give me credit for that at least. And Rachel would question why he was making excuses for me when he was just dogging me out not even a month ago. They even started arguing about me, with her always, questioning why all of a sudden Josh was defending me.